In recent years, social media has increasingly become more popular when it comes to raising awareness for causes and activism. Through digital storytelling and emotional attachment, these people are able to garner support and even real world change for their causes. But at the end of the day, this begs an important question. What makes a social media movement go viral? Well, today I want to discuss the case of the endsars movement of 2020, which looked to address the rampant police brutality that was happening in Nigeria. SARS is the Special Anti Robbery Squad, which served as Nigeria's police force. They're meant to deal with issues in Nigeria such as kidnapping, motorcycle theft, firearms, and other issues, but over time, they became the perpetrators as they would begin abusing their powers and inflicting pain on others who were innocent and committed no crimes. This would include tortures, rapes, unlawful arrests, kidnappings, and even murders. This then led to the endsars movement, which gained a lot of traction in 2020 due to multiple factors. We will look at these factors in the context of digital activism. So potentially the most effective part of the campaign for endsars was the videos that were spread on social media. On apps such as Twitter, videos were spread showing all the atrocities that were happening, especially after the Lekki tollgate shooting, which took many lives. Many of the videos that were seen, although they were graphic, them being graphic led people to have an emotional investment as they saw the horrifying things that were happening to these innocent people. This then led many people, such as celebrities and companies, to speak out and make a call to end SARS. Celebrities such as Beyonce, Rihanna, and even the CEO of Twitter helped to speak out against SARS and helped to amplify the voices of these people who were being victimized. Something else that made the campaign very effective was the global narrative. In Nigeria, the government made many attempts to suppress these stories and to silence these voices. This was done through sharp power as they tried to find ways to hide stories and spread misinformation about endsars in order to stop this advocacy. Despite this, the global narrative that was forming as more people around the world started to share the endsars movement, this then led to a change of the narrative. This was a narrative that wasn't controlled by the government, but a narrative that was controlled by the people who wanted to voice their complaints and end these atrocities. There was also an algorithmic element as hashtags were also heavily used. These hashtags helped people easily find anything about the information that they needed. This could include videos, images, reports, and much more that was listed under the hashtag endsars movement. So now that we've looked at what made this campaign effective, why don't we look at the challenges? Seeing as Nigeria is a poor country, there were many challenges. For one, many of the Nigerians who were actually victims couldn't tell their story because, for example, they may have not had a phone or they may not have had working internet. All in all, this only served to make it more difficult to get the stories out there, as many of the people who had these stories couldn't be heard. Another challenge was the government suppression, as like we said earlier, the government tried to find many ways to suppress these stories and keep them from entering the public eye. This was done with fake reports, fake stories, misinformation, and just general ways to lie and manipulate the public. These are issues that are not easily overcome, and many of the people who did have these stories weren't heard, but through the digital storytelling of people all around the world, they were able to bring light to the topic and speak for those who didn't have the voice. Now, we must look at where are SARS now. So SARS was actually disbanded as a result of this protest. The public backlash from the Lekki tollgate shooting and the police brutality as a whole had become too much, which led the government to release a statement stating that they had disbanded SARS. Despite this, even though it was disbanded, many people believe that these officers from SARS were just put into different departments such as medical. This means that many of the people who committed atrocities such as theft and rape never faced their consequences. And even till this day, corruption and police brutality is still an issue in Nigeria. So what can we do? We can only continue to spread awareness and hope that eventually these issues will be no more in Nigeria. As we continue to grow and as social media gets bigger, we will be able to tell these stories and make our voices heard. when issues like this come about. That's why it's very important to practice media literacy and digital storytelling. And that's why we must advocate for these issues, as there are others who can't advocate for it themselves.